My mind used to run so fast that I'd reach the end of the day completely exhausted, not from what I'd done, but from everything I'd thought. The replaying of conversations, the planning for problems that hadn't happened yet, the worrying about things from the past. And at some point I realized the issue wasn't that I was thinking too much. It was that I didn't have anything to help me slow down. Thinking is one of the most human things there is. Our minds are wired to protect, to anticipate, to solve. The problem isn't that we think. It's that we haven't been taught how to manage our thoughts. Today I want to share 10 slow habits that have genuinely helped me find more peace in a mind that constantly wants to be doing, planning, or figuring something out. The place to begin is simply noticing that you're overthinking without making it another thing to think about. Because I think that's a common pattern a lot of us fall into. We catch ourselves spiraling, and then we start to spiral about the spiral. Is there something wrong with me? Why can't I calm down? Why is my brain always like this? But what if you just put a name to it instead? I'm overthinking right now. That's all. No judgment, no self-criticism, just a name. The moment you name a thought, you create a little distance from it. And that distance, even when it's small, is where peace begins. So much of overthinking is energy spent on things that are completely out of our hands. A practice that has helped me more than almost anything is sitting down and being honest with myself about what's actually within my control and what isn't. I can't control what other people think of me. I can't change what's already happened. I can't predict how things will unfold, no matter how many times I replay them in my mind. What I can control is how I respond, the next small step I can take, where I choose to place my attention. Sometimes we spend an entire day arguing with reality in our minds, fighting with the rain, the traffic, a conversation that didn't go the way we wanted, wishing things were different. And by the end of the day, we end up feeling exhausted from fighting battles that we're not able to even win. When we learn to distinguish what's within our control from what isn't, we stop giving away our energy to things we simply cannot change, and we start investing it in the things we can. And once you know what is yours to carry, take one small action toward it. Something I've learned is that overthinking thrives in inaction. The longer we sit with a worry without moving, the bigger it's going to grow. So instead of trying to solve everything at once, just do the smallest possible version of the thing. Send the message, make the appointment, put in that load of laundry. Even a small action sends a powerful message to your nervous system. We're not stuck. We're moving forward. And sometimes that simple shift from thinking to doing is enough to bring an enormous sense of relief. You don't need to have everything figured out before you begin. You just need to take the next small step. There's something so relieving about moving thoughts from your head onto paper, because the mind tends to exaggerate everything. It makes things feel bigger and more magnified than they actually are. But when you write down a worry, it becomes easier to process. You can actually look at it. And it doesn't even need to be elaborate. It can simply be, this is what I'm afraid of. Here's what's on my mind. So write it down, read it back, and notice how often the thing on the page feels so much smaller than the thing in your head. It's also a way of honoring the thought rather than suppressing it. So instead of pushing it away, you're saying, I see you, I'm not ignoring you. And sometimes that's all the mind really needs to finally let it go. When the mind gets very loud, sometimes we need to physically interrupt the pattern. The 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique is one of my favorite ways to do that. And I love it because you can literally do this anywhere. So wherever you are, you slowly identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. What this does is pull your attention out of the future, where overthinking lives, and back into the present, into this room, this moment. It's hard for the nervous system to be anxious about tomorrow and fully present at the same time. By engaging your senses this way, you gently redirect your attention away from the spiral and back to what is actually here, helping you feel calmer, more settled, more like yourself again. Meditation can feel intimidating when you're someone who overthinks, because who wants to sit alone with a mind that doesn't stay quiet? I know it can be challenging in the beginning, but it's helpful to remember that this is exactly why we practice meditation in the first place. We're not trying to stop our thoughts, we're simply learning how to relate to them differently. When you sit down to meditate, imagine you're looking up at a wide, open sky. Each thought that arises is like a cloud drifting above your head, and rather than chasing it, judging it, or getting carried away by it, simply notice it and let it pass. The sky doesn't cling to the clouds, and you don't have to cling to every thought that passes through your mind. Every time you notice your mind wandering and gently bring your attention back to the present moment, you're strengthening that skill, and that's what the practice is. Not having a perfectly quiet mind, but learning to return again and again to what's happening right here, right now. The overthinking mind is often looking for problems and things that are going wrong. And that's why gratitude is a really powerful practice, because it invites us to look at what's already good and what's going right. And it's not about pretending that life is all rainbows and butterflies, because life can be chaotic, it can be uncertain, and it's difficult at times. But even on hard days, there is usually something beautiful still present. A warm cup of coffee, a kind text from a friend, a quiet moment of peace. Gratitude trains the mind to see those things, and sometimes writing down just 3 things you're grateful for is enough to remind you that life is more than the worries running through your head. One of the most life-changing habits I've learned is mindfulness. At its core, mindfulness is simply paying attention to the moment you're in. It can happen while washing the dishes, arranging flowers in a vase, or drinking a cup of tea. These ordinary moments give the overthinking mind something it rarely gets, a chance to rest. Because instead of getting lost in thoughts about the past or the future, we're giving our attention to something real, something tangible. Try bringing this awareness into your everyday activities. Notice the colors around you, the sounds in the background, the textures beneath your fingertips. Slow down enough to truly experience what's right in front of you. When you practice mindfulness, you naturally start to live your life with more presence, more awareness, with more intention. If you'd like to go deeper, I'll have a video linked in the description box below that can help. So much of overthinking comes from our discomfort with uncertainty. We convince ourselves that if we analyze enough, plan enough, or replay every possible scenario in our minds, we'll finally feel safe. We'll finally know what to expect. But life doesn't work that way. No amount of overthinking can guarantee an outcome or protect us from every surprise. There's a certain kind of peace that comes from accepting that some things are simply unknown, that life, at its core, is uncertain, and that we're capable of moving through that uncertainty one step at a time. And not everything unknown is something to fear. Some of the most meaningful moments in life are the ones we never planned for, the opportunities we didn't expect, the friendships that came to be, the experiences that changed us in ways we never could have predicted. We allow peace to emerge when we let go of the need to know exactly what's next, in trusting that you can handle whatever comes. In taking the next step, even when you can't see the entire path yet. Learning to be fully present has created space for more peace in my life, because the present moment is where peace actually lives. What good does it do to dwell on something that's already happened? The past cannot be changed. And how often does worrying about the future truly help? Planning is helpful, but worrying is just using our precious time and energy on things that may never happen. When you're present, you step out of the endless noise of thinking and into the experience of being alive. You begin to notice things you've been moving too quickly to see. You savor what's in front of you. You feel the warmth of your coffee, the breeze through an open window, the sound of laughter from someone you love. Life stops feeling like something you're trying to get through and starts feeling like something you're actually living. Overthinking doesn't disappear overnight, and honestly, a part of us may always be wired this way, but the goal isn't to eliminate every anxious thought. The goal is to build a life where those thoughts have less power over your peace, a life where you're more present than preoccupied, more grounded than overwhelmed, more connected to what's here than consumed by what might happen next. I'd love to know which of these habits resonates with you the most right now. Leave it in the comments below. And if this video helped you in any kind of way, please give it a thumbs up so it can reach more people who could use it. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you soon.